Incredible. So, here we are. Look at this. Brand new, brand spanking new studio. Kinda. Studio, I guess. You could kind of sort of say that. We are going to make a wrench today. A wrench. Yeah, it's really cool. This is a camera angle semi familiar. This is the camera angle for the Vermilion apartment. And now it is the camera angle of the Omaha house, which is really cool. We're building this guy right there. This is our first half of it is done. So that's easy. That's nice. So bada bing bada boom. Obviously the other side, the beautiful cross diamond pattern we're used to, but this is the side that's important. Backside will get sanded off later. We need two of these. I should say at least two of these. So that's cool, right? So we're gonna cut out the other one, and then maybe make something else. I don't particularly know yet, but we shall see. But basically, we're making a wrench, and this is what the wrench looks like. It's some type of weird, very precise measuring wrench. Maybe it's really not even a wrench. Maybe it's just something. But usually a wrench should be able to go up and down and tighten. This doesn't tighten. I'm just going to make it static, stuck open at this angle, at this level. So there's that. It's pretty easy, pretty simple. Boom. Too low FPS. Let me know what the stream quality is looking like right now. So I got no idea. I have a little bit of an idea, but let me know if you can hear me. I guess that's probably the biggest one. But all right, already this is already done. So you just go ahead and grab this guy. Boom. Now if you'll notice, they're mirrored, so that way they fit together perfectly, right? Otherwise, we just have two of this one, and the biggest reason we don't want two of this one is because it's got this diamond pattern. Thank you. I appreciate that. It has this diamond pattern, and we're gonna sand all this off. This will be our good side, which is our face. This will be the back side, which is going to be glued to the other back side after it's sanded off, which isn't going to look amazing. And then on the inside, we'll put some kind of metal rod or something so it doesn't flop too much anymore. Once it's thicker, it's not going to flop around as much. But we're going to put a metal rod or something like here and here, just so that way it adds a little bit of life, a little bit of toughness to it. So this guy right here, I don't know why I have the headphones in. I don't need them. Don't need them. Kind of probably never needed them. But we're going to try to get this nice and flat. I'll do a lot of the straight lines first here. Some of this is not cutting nearly as well as I want it to. The best part about this is we'll be able to sand it and make it look a little bit better later on. But this is a very slow process. This is a very weird shape. To get it all cut out is going to take a little bit of time. My goal with this was to like, oh man, I bet if I cut it out so perfectly, I won't have to sand it. Spoiler alert, it's not being cut out very perfectly, and I'm going to have to sand it, which sucks. Mostly because it's just too complicated of a shape to come out super well. But yeah, we're just cutting away at the wrench, slowly but surely, getting all the nice cuts cut up, and we'll be able to just pull it right off the paper here in a little bit. Right off the paper, right out of the foam, I should say. Ooh, I didn't like how my knife drug on that one. That was really bad. No, holding it like a toddler here. I'm gonna sharpen it a little bit. Looks pretty good. Time to see if I sharpened it bad or correctly. It's kind of, you never really know. Let's see, is this whole side? See how that side is starting to be free? Making progress. We're getting there. I know it's a little dark. Trying to keep the knife as completely parallel as possible, but also I'm doing a really weird shape right now. So I'm not going to cut perfectly along the line on this shape. I'm actually going to make it a little bit bigger because I'm going to have to sand it down anyways. I know I am. Oh man, I haven't made a wrench in, I think literally since like 2015. I think it's been that long, which is crazy. Because the engineer, the guy that gets this wrench, the engineer, is one of my all-time favorite video game characters ever. Um, but like, I haven't, and I've cosplayed him since then, but I've just never felt the really want to make any more items. Because I kind of, I nailed it. I nailed it the first time. They looked great. Don't need to do any more because they looked good. Ooh, gross. That's a little better. Go. There's that. There's that. We're starting to be able to peel the shape of the wrench out of the foam here. This is one big long straight cut that I really don't want to have to sand. So we're gonna try to just do this in one take. That's pretty straight, actually. That's really good. But I can also tell my knife bounced up and down a few times. Boom, get rid of that. We're starting to get there. We're starting to get it out of there. Oof. Not the best cut, not the best cut. That's fine. we're so you can kind of see it starting to take shape. I mean, you can see the outline of the shape, but you're starting to be able to see that we're going to be able to pull this bad boy off of this here pretty soon. I'm getting there. We are indeed getting there. All right, this guy. Okay, you gotta sharpen it again. This is just beating the heck out of this knife. I went a different way with my knife sharpener. Yikes, that was so bad. That was another really bad one. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them. Otherwise, it's mostly me and the foam here. Let's see how well this cuts. That actually cuts pretty good. It's a little wonky, just where it's positioned at. There we go. That's better. Okay, yeah, it's cutting good now. All right. It's almost there. We just gotta grab the handle now. Almost there, almost there, almost there. And boom. Look at that. Look at that. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. This is going to be heavily, heavily sanded down. Like, I mean, sanded down like crazy. But now we can kind of see what two halves will look like together. That feels really good. I like the overall shape of that. It's pretty cool. It feels like a good meaty handle. I know it's going to lose a ton of body once we sand off. Hope Jake is watching because I'm talking about how I'm going to sand this stuff off because I have to because they're going to go together. And it's going to look like super garbage if I try to glue it together with all this stuff still on. Because you can look, if you look, this is me pushing down as hard as possible. See all that space there? That sucks. That's trash. No one wants that. It's awful. So, We're gonna sand the heck out of that stuff, and that'll be the easiest bit. So now that we have this, and I like these shapes, and I don't think I will ever have to cut any more shapes using the OG form here. Now we're gonna do the scary part, which I don't like, which scares me, and that is cut up the OG form. I know what pieces of it basically need to be thicker and which ones need to be thinner. So we are going to get this piece right here, and then this piece right here, and those will be our thicker pieces, which will get this of like 4 or 6 millimeter foam is going to be those, and they'll have a layer over, and then I think this little weird L piece is also going to be 6 millimeter foam. And then this thing right here is round. That is typically, because it's a wrench, this little round bit, that's the knob that you would move, and it would make the, I believe this top part of the wrench clamp down or go further out. That is, you can kind of see the mechanic here, all this space, that it would go further down. Yeah, but this way's better. So like, you could put filler in the gap, and it's a thing you could do. I don't have any with me, but it's easier to actually make it stick together because you want it to be this piece. You want it to be this nice foam side. This will stick to this the easiest, right? When it's foam against foam, and then also you see, you can kind of tell there's a little bit of a gap, but once we put contact cement in there, that's going to be fused together. And it's actually better for the overall weapon, for the prop, for all this to be sanded away so we have a better surface to put the glue on to connect to the other side. Because this surface is very bumpy, it's very whatever, it's not flat, so it's not going to glue very well when I want it to be glued on flat, you know? So I just don't want to deal with that. Even if it would be filler, it's going to look bad, it's going to look junky, and I don't like it. Yeah, I don't like it. So that's why we're not going to use any filler, because I don't like it and it looks junky, and that's not what people do in cosplay. They sand down the crisscross pattern. So that's how I do it, and that's how people that I learned from do it, and that's how America does it. So that's what we're doing. So the scary part right here is just saying I will never be able to make this pattern ever. I can still print this off. I still have the things to print it off, and I still know the settings. But that means I would have to get a totally new thing to print once I cut this up. So we're going to cut this up. We are going to cut it. So we can get this piece, and I think this L piece, and then everything else I'll be able to kind of just play by ear for how I want it to look. This handle is going to be really weird. I don't know totally how I want to do the handle yet. I think I might just do some cool sanding techniques on the handle. But this is the no going back, right? Once I cut up this bit, it's over. And it's not over. I can always print more, but it's just then it's more work. So let's get this bad boy lined up. Metal ruler, haha. Yikes, I hate that. I could. I don't want. I'm not gonna. It's too much work. Boom. There's the front part. And then we're going to go ahead and cut off his top bit. Yeah. I'd rather just waste paper and print another one. Because also we're short on time. So we really just need to. We have to keep all these little bits though, because this is important. Because we have to cut out that little middle part right there. All the whites is the negative space that we don't need. All right, and this guy. Perfect. Wow, nice. A little thin actually, but that looks good. Those are my raised parts. Cut this guy off. Boop. That looks good. This is a really tricky little piece here. I've now, to be fair, I've had this for like 4 years. Like 3 or 4 years. I had this for a long time. I should have dated it when I got it. Oop, those are all the pieces. Those are all the pieces that I want to be raised. And we'll take these other pieces. And we're just going to put them on top here and hope they don't explode or something. These people, they don't get it. They don't know. All right, that's that bit. So we have these. Now we're going to trace these. We need 2 of each because one needs to go on one side, one needs to go on the other side. All right. Crack into a whole new roll of foam. Scary. So scary. I'm curious if this foam is thin enough. Well, it's all, I know it's very thin. No, it's super duper thin. Bam, bam. Get this guy out here. Grab that guy. Somewhat. There we go. Big long flat piece. We're going to use it on one of the edges because that's just going to be the easiest way to do it, and we can save ourselves so much time, energy, cutting. There we go. Wow, this is a nice Sharpie. These pieces don't need to be flipped or anything because this foam is the same on both sides. That's the nicest part about it. That looks good. That's that piece, so that's done. We'll go ahead and set that with the others. This piece is just so wonky. I'm not going to be able to use an edge for any of the flat parts. Yo, what's up, Tristan? Have you found any candid pictures of me from this live stream to turn into a t-shirt? Are you happy? I'm doing a live stream. You haven't been able to make a t-shirt from me since like November. There we go. Never. Yeah, never, Ethan. Wait, let me double check. Yeah, never. Yeah. There's that piece. That piece. One more, just a wonky L-shaped piece now. And for this one, we will use one of the edges. Nice. There we go. Bada bing, bada boom. That's all of them. That's all the sides. Wow, this Sharpie kicks butt. I'm gonna mark this Sharpie as like, mark this Sharpie with the other Sharpie. I'll just put a little ring around it. The Sharpie is just way freaking better and cooler. There we go. Now I know this Sharpie is my good Sharpie. It matters. There's a difference, okay? There's a difference. All right. Now we gotta cut out all these pieces. Pretty easy, pretty fun. They're really not crazy. A lot of straight lines, which is cool. That means I can do this. Boom. This may end up being too thick, but we'll see. If it looks a little big and it looks cartoonish, that's okay because it's TF2 and it's kind of allowed to look big and cartoonish, which is really nice. I am making this. No one's asked yet, but I'm gonna go ahead and just throw it out there. I'm making this for a convention that I'll be going to this weekend. That's here in Omaha, called Campi Con, something like that. Looks pretty cool. It's kind of wild. They're having a convention Easter weekend, so I don't know how much I'll be able to actually be there on Sunday, but we shall see. But it's currently Tuesday. I think I'll be able to get this almost all completely done on Wednesday if I go and I get the right paint and everything. Slash wake up early enough to get all this done before I have to go to work. Boom, there's the other one. Pretty easy. And all of this is probably going to be glued uh, to both sides of them, and then I'll do all the sanding because these may not be able to be glued perfectly. So yeah, the goal would be to glue everything, put everything together, sand it all down, make any cuts that need to be made, and then just paint everything. And that's really the only two straight cuts that are on this piece. And then I've got to kind of go in and do some wacky stuff. Yeah, this is going to have to be, this is going to need to be whatever it's called, sanded. Second favorite TF2 character. So after the engineer, it's got to be the soldier. Both super patriotic dudes. So yeah, engineer because he's the builder guy. He's an engineer, you know. He's constructs things, makes things. It's kind of how I like to play. And then the soldier because he's a really cool character, and his class is relatively easy to play and new player friendly. If you don't know, it has a good skill ceiling, but it's very new player friendly. So if you don't know how to play the game, the soldier is such a strong class that even if you play it kind of bad, you can still be a pretty good soldier for your team. So I really like that. Versus engineer, you really got to kind of be on point with what you're doing, how you're playing, how you're building things, where you're building things, you know. Which I love all of that, but for soldier, when I just want to play a little bit more casually, I can just throw some rockets out, play soldier. Honestly, I have pretty similar hours invested into both of those classes, so I could say I like them these. Get some French curves. They are the straight edge of curve cutting. Okay, I'll look into some French curves. Really, some really curvy French girls. I'm sure. I'm just kidding. Yeah, I'll have to look into that. Is it like I assume it's a tool. If it's not a tool, then I've got to freehand it anyways. If it is a tool, I'll look into it. But this is a really weird, like this is a really weird curve. So I don't know if there'd be any one tool I could do this. I've seen tools that are like circles to cut circles out. Those are curves that obviously suck to do with a knife, but even then a circle is a lot easier than like this because you can make it just a perfectly round circle. This shape is so unique to purely this item. You know, I would dare I say this shape doesn't exist anywhere else except on a similar item like this. You know, again, dare I say it. Boom, there's that piece. That piece is free now. Cool. And now these two little L's, two little L guys. Technically, they have a bit of a shape. It is a tool. Yeah, that didn't. That turned out pretty well, actually. These little guys. Cool. Now the last one. 3 or 4 pieces, all kinds of curves. Okay. Again, I will say, I do think this curve is very specific. nor do I know if I'll buy a tool. But maybe in the future, if I find myself doing more curvy stuff, I might. But for right now, I think the Dremel tool is my French tool because it can make any curve curvier. Because the knife, if the knife isn't as curvy, wow, that's like perfect. Nice. Now we're gonna hit this guy. I kind of fudged that one up. Yeah, I kind of fudged that one up. All right, whatever. Well, that's that. Boom. That's all we need from that roll, which is cool. And now we have all our little bits and bobs. We're basically done using the knife on this build. That's not necessarily true, actually. Get all this trash moved over there. And so this is what it'll kind of look like. These will be the raised bits. Those will be the raised bits. I think that'll look really good, actually. I think that's a good thickness, too. Nice. There's one side. This will be the other side. Boom, there's all that. All right. We take the other papery bits that we have still. We take the ones that have the void pieces. I kind of need to add those. Do I want to do this? I think it'll be easier to add all of these once this main piece is glued together. So I think I actually glue this piece together before I add all these bits. So I think we'll call it there. We have our bulk of the foam work is now cut out. Those bits are all cut out. These bits are all cut out. All we have to do is sand it now, put some metal rods in there to stabilize it, and then we can go ahead, add all the details. Once it's glued together, once it's glued together, we'll cut out the holes, and then we'll go ahead, we'll add all the details, and then we'll sand everything. And I think that's what we're going to be. I think that's where we're going to end it. So we're going to end it right there. Hopefully by the next time you see this, we are either painting this tomorrow night, or it's already done and it's totally finished. But thank you for coming along. Thank you for joining the live stream, guys. We will see you later. This is the part of the live stream where I lie to you and say maybe I'll do this again this week, or maybe I won't do it for another 3 or 4 months, because that has kind of been the way it's been going for the past like 3 years. So we'll see what happens. I don't know what's gonna happen, but see you then.